So this video is probably going to get put together in numerous parts. So if you see some wardrobe changes, that's why. Working on several odds and ends on the 550G. It's got this fuel leak from where it looks like they shoved a hole in the tank. I'm going to patch that up. That's what I'm working on right now. None of those factory dummy lights work. So I got a triple gauge set to go in there, and I'm gonna get a transmission temp monitor for that, or gauge. I'm sorry, I hear neighbors hollering at hound dogs. Anyway, so we got that going on. Whole lot of different odds and ends, but this is what I'm focused on today. One little boring thing I've already done was it needed some bolts in the starter, so put a couple more bolts in the starter. Now I understand why they came out too. You can't get a socket on them, and you can barely get an end wrench on them, but you can look right there, you can touch them, you just can't tighten them. So anyway, I've done that, fixing to do this, just a whole lot of odds and ends, so we'll go ahead and get into it. And hey, while I'm thinking about it, if you like this sort of stuff, tinkering on stuff, running heavy equipment, all that, it's a good time to go ahead and subscribe, give us a thumbs up, helps out a bunch. Appreciate it. Okay, so this is like take 3 of me trying to shoot this right here, because of text messages and all that. And there's another one. Anyway, what you're looking at right there, my old self down here, I'm breaking the fuel line loose here where the rubber hose joins to the hard line, if it will. And that way I can drain the fuel out of the tank and be able to, there we go. I'm going to drain the fuel out of the tank so we can weld a new piece of sheet metal that's a 1/16 of an inch thick. I'm going to put that on there. That's O-ring boss too. I don't think we lost our O-ring. Anyway, that way we can fix the fuel tank, the leak. Okay, we're just gonna pull that rubber line, fuel line, back out of there. Kind of work it back out of here. I've got a container to drain it into. Yeah. Oh, that's gonna work nicely. Very nice, very nice. May end up, yeah. Let me guys over here. You see, just pull that out of here. Yeah. You're looking at the bottom there. Get this pulled out of here, like so. Drop it into a bucket. Come on, Pookie. There. I'm gonna pull the fuel cap off so the vent won't matter. We got fuel coming out of that line. Oh yeah. Looks like they had highway fuel in it too. So what we have here, I've got a piece of sheet metal, I think. I'm just gonna put it up there like that. Not the whole piece, I'm just getting kind of a rough measurement to figure out about where I want to cut this out. Should be right about there. And the reason for doing that, it looks to me, like I said before, like they punched a hole in this tank, because this thing lives in the woods when there's planting trees, obviously. And stuff happens, I understand that. This, to me, is not a good way to fix this. because it's already got some leaks, some seepages. I know it's kind of hard to see, but it's right there. I can make it out. And the issue that you're gonna have when you try to clean this up, like if you wanted just to patch this, you're never gonna get that oily diesel fuel out of this steel to be able to get a good clean weld. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna drain this down, drain my fuel out, and it's steady draining. It's gonna take it a while for that small fuel line, but that's okay. We're gonna drain it down, get it down just as empty as we can get it, and I'm gonna leave my cap off so it's vented. I'm gonna cut this piece of sheet metal and I'm gonna sew it on here. Sew it. I'm gonna weld it on here. I call it whatever. I'm gonna weld it on here, and whenever I do my weld on all the way around this thing, I'm gonna do I'm gonna clean all my paint. I'm gonna clean the steel up with brake cleaner, and of course let it evaporate. We're gonna get this just as clean as we can. I'm gonna take my MIG machine and run a very clean, nice stitched weld all the way around it. You make sure at your starts and your stops that you overlap your weld. You're wanting to seal this thing up, and that's what we're going to do to stop this leak, because I don't like this. No, it's not a whole lot. Probably, most people wouldn't even worry about this, but I do. It's on my equipment, and it's going to be right when it goes to the woods. So anyway, that's where we're at with that. Okay, so here's my panel I'm going to end up putting on there. One thing I like doing is I'll round these corners, so whenever you bring your weld around, you don't have a stop and a start or a sharp corner right there. It's less prone to cracking, all sorts of things like that. Just a little something that I've had work really good for me. Now I'm gonna get some more of this paint and stuff off of here and see where I need to be as far as that goes. And something I'll take time to mention, notice I went up, over, and down. The reason for that, we have a fuel leak right here. Had I done this first, I'm gonna fill this flapper disc up with diesel, because it's not a whole lot there. But think about it, we're trying to get out here to a nice clean surface to weld. If we fill our flapper disc or sanding disc up with diesel to start with, you're just gonna smear it all around here, not really be gaining a whole lot. We are still gonna clean it with brake cleaner, but just a little pointer, something that I do. All right. Alright, so here's where we stand. Fuel tank is not leaking. That repair turned out good. You notice the wardrobe change. That's because it is, in fact, a different day. Um, Actually working on a couple different videos at the same time. Just going to break them up a little bit. I think it'd work out a little better than trying to cram it all into one. Fuel tank's patched. Next video I'm working on the 550G is getting the new gauges put in. I didn't like the dummy lights and went back with a whole set of mechanical gauges, put the tack back in, and I'll bring y'all along and let you see how that worked out. Still got a pretty good project of taking the blade off and installing it properly, because it's just not how I want it. Blade's got to be done, pads have got to be tightened back down, need a couple of bolts for those. The starter bolts are in. I'm trying to rattle off everything that needed to be done to it. Just a handful of things, and quite a few of them are done. Quite a few are half done, and I can't stand that. But we're sitting here waiting on a big old storm to come blowing in. So it's probably about all we're gonna get done today. Anyway, if you like this kind of content, hey, we really appreciate you taking your time to watch our stuff. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share the video, tell your friends, and the subscription is free. It's the best thing about YouTube. It's free. So anyway, thanks guys. Catch it with you later.